Hello, how you doing? Thanks for watching. I'm going to put this down. This week's photo is of a selection of books that I have at home that have all been banned or censored or edited or have had some kind of legal problem when they were published or distributed, or many years after being published have been challenged. When you challenge a book, this is very typical in the United States. You say, I don't think that book should be in my child's school or in our public library because it's indecent, it has bad language, it's anti-Christian or whatever. One example is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Despite being a very successful TV series and being published in 1985, it's continuously challenged in school districts in the United States. Why? Well, it's a feminist classic. It talks about abortion. There are very violent and explicit scenes. It's not an easy read. Some people don't like it. Another example is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. It's all about denouncing the state as it tries to control people. Some people don't like that book either. And then we have this book, Breaking the Chain by Willy Voigt. I hope I pronounced that reasonably well. This book is about drugs and cycling. It was published in Belgium first, and then the English translation had terrible legal problems and had to be essentially completely rewritten and not mentioning names. And in Spain, it wasn't even published. There's no translation or publication of this book in Spain because a lot of those people who were mentioned were Spanish. These are just 3 examples of books that have had problems. Obviously, every year there are hundreds, thousands of books that somebody doesn't like, especially if that person is powerful, then you might not be able to read them. Is that good for society? Let's find out more.
Every year, the American Library Association publishes its frequently challenged books list to keep track of books that are challenged and banned within the United States. What can the censorship of books tell us about the world we live in? Books mirror society, its beliefs, fears, and conflicts. Accepted behavior, language, and even the meanings of words can change between generations. Some stories provoke anger or discomfort. Throughout history, authorities have tried to control what people can read. Banned or challenged books often reveal who holds power and what ideas are feared. This presentation explores examples from fiction and nonfiction that have faced suppression and debate. What reasons are given when challenging or banning books? Moral or religious concerns. Language, sexuality, blasphemy. Political control, suppression of criticism or dangerous ideas. Social protection, shielding young readers from disturbing topics. Cultural sensitivity, avoiding offense to particular groups. Reputation and power, preventing exposure of corruption or scandal. Censorship often reflects fear of change of truth or of open discussion. Here are examples of books that have been challenged, censored, banned, or have had difficulties getting published. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, 1932. Aldous Huxley's dystopian vision has been censored worldwide for its treatment of sexuality, drug use, and challenges to authority. In the U.S., it has faced school bans since the 1930s, with critics objecting to anti-family themes, blasphemy, and explicit scenes. South Africa and Ireland both restricted it in the mid-20th century due to its perceived moral corruption. Even in the 21st century, it is challenged in some U.S. school districts for language and sexual content. Yet it remains a staple of literature curricula, praised for its insights into consumerism, technology, and loss of individuality. The Handmaid's Tale, Margaret Atwood, 1985. Atwood's novel has been challenged since its release, primarily in U.S. schools. It appears on the American Library Association's frequently challenged books lists for profanity, vulgarity, and sexual content. Objections often focus on violence, perceived anti-Christian themes, and its unsuitability for young readers. With renewed political debates around reproductive rights, the novel often resurfaces in censorship battles. Despite this, it is celebrated globally as a feminist classic and remains central to debates on freedom of expression and reproductive rights. Breaking the Chain, Willie Vaught, 1999. Willie Vaught, a physiotherapist for the Festina cycling team, exposed systematic doping in professional cycling after being caught with performance-enhancing drugs before the 1998 Tour de France. Originally published in Belgium, the English edition of his memoir was heavily redacted due to libel concerns. Certain names and allegations were removed to avoid lawsuits. The book has never been published in Spain, mainly due to legal caution from publishers, as many of the names mentioned in the book were Spanish. Today, the book is viewed as a candid historical record of cycling's doping culture. Fariña, Nacho Carretero, 2015. This investigative book about drug trafficking in the Spanish region of Galicia was temporarily banned by a Spanish court after a former politician filed a defamation lawsuit. It was later reinstated, but the controversy highlighted concerns about where Spanish law draws the line between freedom of expression and the protection of reputation. The ban triggered protests from writers, booksellers, and the press. In 2018, an award-winning drama series based on the book was shown on Spanish TV. The banning or restriction of books reveals much about the values and anxieties of a particular time and place. Brave New World and The Handmaid's Tale show how fiction can challenge moral, religious, and political assumptions. Breaking the Chain and Fariña demonstrate how nonfiction can threaten powerful interests by exposing uncomfortable truths. Although the reasons for censorship vary, from obscenity to defamation, the effect is often the same: the silencing of important perspectives. Studying these examples highlights why defending the freedom to read is essential for open debate, critical thought, and cultural progress. Questions for conversation. Have you read books that have ever been banned or censored? If so, describe them. Should protecting readers from offensive or disturbing material ever justify censorship? How can banned books contribute to important social or political change? In the digital age, is it still possible or ethical to control what people read?